Funding Planned Parenthood means funding abortions. Next on the American Life League Report. There's a lot of confusion over the question of government funds going to Planned Parenthood. Many people are under the mistaken impression that Planned Parenthood's government funds can't be used to pay for abortions. But the truth is, this money does pay for abortions in two ways. It does so directly and indirectly through what is called fungibility. The direct funding for abortion comes from the Hyde Amendment itself, because it allows the government to pay Planned Parenthood and other abortion facilities for abortions in the cases of rape, incest, and life of the mother. The indirect funding for abortion, or fungibility, works like this. Suppose a Planned Parenthood facility has two streams of revenue through individual donations and clinic income that total $8 million. This clinic income is generally made up from the sales of birth control, STD testing, and abortion. But before a business can make a profit, it has to build a budget. So let's say Planned Parenthood's budget breaks into four categories: abortion business, contraceptive supplies, sex education, and other for things like lobbying efforts, advertising, and pink bus tours. This is money Planned Parenthood has to spend before it can make money. So keeping it simple, let's say that this $8 million is divided equally into these four categories, or $2 million for each. Now in comes the government, who says, "We'll give you $4 million for your birth control and sex education services, but only under one condition. You cannot use that money to pay for abortion." So, Planned Parenthood agrees to use that $4 million only for sex education and birth control. But look at what this does to Planned Parenthood's budget. Planned Parenthood no longer has to use $4 million from its own income to cover the cost of birth control and sex education because the government is now covering that cost. So, Planned Parenthood can expand its abortion business and increase its operating budget by taking the $4 million it would have spent here and moving it here. American Life League has tracked the amount of government funds going to Planned Parenthood and the number of abortions performed at Planned Parenthood facilities from 1970 through to the present. When you examine the numbers, you can see that whenever the amount of government funds goes up, so do the number of abortions Planned Parenthood performs. And when the funding goes down, on those rare occasions, so do the number of abortions. The facts don't lie. There's a direct and proportionate relationship between the amount of money the government gives to Planned Parenthood and the number of babies it kills. But this cycle of death will only continue so long as politicians remain committed to shutting down the entire federal government rather than defund Planned Parenthood. And why shouldn't they be committed? As long as they keep money flowing into Planned Parenthood's coffers, Planned Parenthood will remain committed to spending tons of its time and money keeping them in office. It's time to break the cycle. It's time to end Planned Parenthood's government funding. For American Life League, I'm Michael Hitchborn.